So, my dear Gemini, today is your new moon, and that means that Sun and new moon are both in your sign, so you're alone on the stage, and it means that you can look into this card a little deeper, right, through the light aspect and through the dark aspect of these energies that are influencing you right now. And so, as you can see, she's holding on to the dark, and usually the feminine is the dark, right? And he's looking at her and he's almost like saying, I got you, babe, right? And you see the hair and you like first think, what's going on here? But when you turn it around, right, you see the heart shape, but also the triangle here pointing down, but actually it's pointing up. And so the arms are the body part for Gemini, right? Shoulders, arms, and hands, and they're coming directly out of the heart region. And so you see here that there is a beautiful energy teaching us to love ourselves with the number 6, right? And there's the hexagram in between them on the third eye perspective. And she's a 3 and he's a 3. And so this is what's talking here. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and we're going to look into what Mercury has to say about this. And then we're going to look, of course, into the moon. And we're also going to look into the sun, right? Because the sun is giving no light to the new moon, but nevertheless, it's in your sign. It's when we look at the moon, we see the constellation Gemini behind it. When we look at the sun, we see the constellation Gemini behind it. And that's why the moon is dark. We're also going to look at Gemini, the communication of what you bring always to the table, right? You love to talk. And that is here in this deck, the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is really like someone that can really talk a lot. And so it's really important that you sometimes also learn to listen. Then we're also going to look at the third house, right, which is you, the third house of communication and interaction. And so this is going to be the reading, right? We have 4 stations, and usually we have 5 because of the other sign. And so what's really important is that you understand that I have changed my reading style and are doing things a little bit more simpler. In the yoga position, this is for me Eka Pada Raja Kaput Asana, King Pigeon pose, reaching back to the feet. Your arms are reaching back, and in that you open your heart and you're reaching into the subconscious, which is Pisces, right? And in our subconscious, there is a natural way of uniting inhale and exhale, masculine and feminine. Back to the last reading where Taurus Sun gave Gemini Moon the light. The message was 9 times 1. Your new moon is coming and heals your emotional intelligence. So we're gonna have a look if that is really happening, that your emotional intelligence is getting healed. And of course we begin with you, the Knight of Swords, you getting here Aquarius, the star. And yes, there is a 10 and a 7, and the 7 is Cancer, is the emotional intelligence, and the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. So it's spinning, right? The sun is a dwarf star, and so you feel the sun's influence through noticing that you can connect to something that is much higher than you. And the same way the bird is actually here letting you know you can do this. So the 17 and the 3, the third house, right, is creating a 20, and the 20 is the last judgment. And the last judgment is your calling. It's your calling to be a star, to connect in a very powerful way, because you're an air sign and Aquarius is an air sign too, and he's the king of Swords. You are the Knight of Swords, and so you're eternally searching for something, and here you have found it. You have found the star, you have found the light deep within you, and when we calculate it together we get the 8. And so very beautiful. You can see that she is looking up at the star and understanding that there is an infinite connection, and it's your calling to be a star. Then we look at the Mercury energy, and Mercury in the tarot is the Magician. And we're going to the left, right? Because it's the new moon. It's your last reading to the left. Now, after this reading, you going again out, extroverted, to your full moon, which is in your opposite sign in Sagittarius. And so here you have the number 24. And the 24 is the 20, right? Which you got here when we calculated this together. We got the 20, and the 20 is really a calling. It's not a judgment. It's a calling that is saying you are ready, because she's not looking up to this number. She's actually looking over to her when you look closer at her eyes, right? And so she's looking at her, and she's kind of like, yeah, I gotta find the heart of the sky, and here it is, the heart of the sky. And you are understanding that through Mercury, which is ruling you. And so you are a magician, right? Deep within you, you can create magic. But you also have the 4, which is the Emperor, and the Emperor is Aries. And Aries is the mind, is in your head. You are understanding now something very profound. Now, plus the 1, we get here the 25, and the 5 is the Hierophant, is Taurus, Sun, right? The last reading that gave you 9 times 1, and that's a 7. So the emotional intelligence is happening. The 7 is here, and there is a 7 here, but here, of course, it's the 17, right? The 8, and then the 7. So it's almost like you're going deeper within. You are understanding, yes, the emotional intelligence lies deep within me. Then I wanted to see what the heart of the sky is bringing you, and is bringing you the King of Swords, Aquarius, right? So you not only have the major arcana, the soul aspect of Aquarius, the star, but now you also have the court card, the king, and you can see he's blowing his information out, and he's inspired by many energies, and he has a butterfly, but it's reverse. And so we're going to look at what this card reverse means, because what's really interesting, the Mother Peace Tarot as a clarification card, it's excellent, because we have upright, we have left, we have reverse, and we have also to the right. And so this card means the shaman blows a wind from her mind and heart that travels up the spirit ladder to receive a message from the swallow-tailed kite. Now reverse, it's saying she's not able to say what she sees and feels. Perhaps she doesn't want to stir up someone's anger or risk a relationship ending. She will continue to be subject to someone else's domination if she doesn't take the initiative wherever she can and communicate what she knows to be true. So here comes the importance that you communicate, right? That you say what you have to say, in sense of that you really do want to become a star. That the 6 here, with your 6, yes, a relationship is always important, but first and foremost the relationship with yourself. And so you are maturing, right? Because you're the knight, and so now the king is coming and bringing you a maturity to look at her and be like, yes, Aquarius is gonna be able to helping me to fulfill my dreams. Then I wanted to see what is your deck saying to this moment, and the Hermit is coming, and the Hermit is already up there like a star, right? And it's very interesting because now you have the Hermit looking at her, almost saying, well, just be the star, right? You don't need to ask no one to give you permission, right? Because it's important that you see that here we are by ourselves. It's almost like you need to take permission to speak up what you have in your heart. And somehow in your heart, you want to be a star, right? And so the major arcana and the court card as Aquarius is literally saying, yeah, take that opportunity, right? But do it in a way that you have understood from deep within to the left your message that you sometimes need to be by yourself. You need to really also follow your desires in an extroverted way, right? And so recognize that. Now, he is the 11th house of technology and community, right? And so there is a 9/11 portal here, the 9/11 that is saying, well, the 11th of September also as a date, or the 9th of November. And you can pick the date, right? But if we calculate it all together, we have here 6, here 9 is the 15, and the 15 is the attachment sometimes to a certain outcome, attachment that a certain love should be a certain way, right? Because we get it sung by so many people and demonstrated by so many people. And so the 15 turns again into a 6, the 6, and the 11 is the 17. So the 17 again is appearing. You want to be a star, but remember you also have the magician, so the 17 turns into an 18, and the 18 is the moon, right? The 18 is, I am in my subconscious understanding what is coming up here. I want to be a star. Why not, right? Today everybody wants to be a star, and there's nothing wrong about it. Then the moon. The moon is bringing you the lay of the land, the number 34, the ancestral wisdom. And you're standing here on this rock. And the 3 is the empress, and the 4 is the emperor. And together they create the 7. So comes here again a 7, the emotional intelligence that we understand about how land is distributed. And together in that emotional intelligence, they can create wonders. But I wanted to see what is coming up here, right? And again, a 7 reverse is coming. Now this is the moon, right? The moon that is letting you to dive deeper into the feelings, into the subconscious. And understanding that is also here through the Hermit, right? The Hermit, the Virgo energy is helping you to actually sometimes say, well, I need that time for myself. And so here you have a 7/7 portal, because the 7 of Wands is Mars in Leo. And Mars is here the 4, the Emperor, is the one that takes actions, is the one that says, I want to do something, right? And so Leo is the one that likes to challenge others, right, by playfulness, but also by a fight. And so here you have the courage to show to the other goddesses that you can be a leader. But for some reason it hasn't happened yet, and it's almost like this card is inspiring you to get up here and to take on the sun or the moon, right? Whichever one you find more fit to be a leader. But I think the sun, because the sun is in your sign right now. And so the 9 here of the 18 calculated together, the 9 and the 7/7, right? You understand that 2 times the 7 actually here 3 times the 7, right? And then of course the 7 in the star itself. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 times the 7. It's your heart that is telling you now to do this, because she's holding from her heart, right? It's her arms and her hands, and it's exactly your body part. She's holding on to the dark, but that dark is herself. She's through this masculinity invited to accept the opposite, in that they find their union. And so I wanted to see what is your deck bringing to this position of the moon, this subconscious, this new moon. It's the 11 of the justice. Libra is coming in here, right? And so Libra is the 11th major arcana, and we had here the 11 through the King of Swords. And so you have 2 times the 11, and that makes 4 times the 1 plus the 1 of the Magician, 5 times the 1. And you understand now that there is a justice needed in the lay of the land. There is courage needed to be just with the people that live on this earth, right? Of course, everybody is different. Of course, certain nations are different, but we need to be just. We need to be honest. And so if we calculate it all together, we get here the 7, and the 7 is the 14, which is temperance. Remember, your opposite sign, Sagittarius. And the 5 and the 11 could be a date, the 5th of November or the 11th of May, right? And so the 11 and the 5 is the 16, and the 16 is the Tower, Mars, right? Letting go of the things, diving deep, allowing yourself to drop deep down. And of course, then the 16 is the 7, and the 7 is the message. Even though the 9 is here, right? The 9 gives up. The 9 and the 7 is the 16, again the Tower, and the 7 is left. So the 7 is clear. The emotional intelligence is letting you know, yes, you understand the message here. Then the Sun. The Sun is bringing you the plant, and it came upside down. And in this deck, there's not really an explanation for the cards upside down, but nevertheless, it just is a message as well. So the plants are here, right? And the number is the 19, which is the Sun. Now it's reverse, and it's saying here that the 1919 is important for you to understand, because in the end, it's a 10-10. You can start a new cycle after this new moon, right? Because it goes out again to the full moon. And so you are needing to look at this. You're needing to see that plants are important. Plants are giving us the chlorophyll. Plants are food for so many animals, also for us, right? And when it's reversed, it's almost like you are not recognizing that enough. And it's the growth cycle. So the 10-10 is talking here to you. But then I wanted to see what is the Mother Peace Tarot saying. And the 8 of Cups is coming to the left. And the 8 of Cups is Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn is the world. Saturn is, I am going deep within. I am, right, diving down into the emotions, into the feelings of Pisces. Pisces is really giving you always the understanding that we have to do something for the love that we want to see in this world. And so here the 8 is like, I'm moving on from something that has actually created an imbalance in me, right? And so the 10-10 and the 8 would be the 28, and the 10 is left. You see what's important here. You understand why you need to go, because it's an emotional thing, right? To the left, it's introverted. It's the new moon that is making you leave something that's not functioning. But from your deck, we have here the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is the most grounded animal, the most grounded zodiac sign. And also as the Taurus, he is really loving and caring. And it's almost like the reverse is happening here, right? If this would be up, he is looking outwards. And because it's reverse, he is looking almost here at him, and the ladder is behind him, to take the step, right? To take the emotions, to go back deep within, to let yourself dive, right, from the moon, and having the courage, right? And knowing that justice is something that we created, right? There's no justice in this world. There's just duality. That you go that infinite path up the ladder again and again. And the 5 is here, right? And so we had a 10, 10, the 8, the 28, the 10, and the 5 is the 15. And guess what? The 15 is Capricorn, is really the devil. And the devil doesn't exist because we cut ourselves off from source, or we get attached to things here in this dimension of the 5 senses. And the 5 senses is always, be careful, right? Those are the windows, the senses to the outer, but also to the inner world. And we have to learn to understand that we need to go to the 3rd eye, to the 6th sense, right? And so the 15 turns into the 6. So here you are living that, you are feeling that. And then, of course, here the understanding that the sun is bringing you such a profound message makes it clear that you want to be a star, right? Because if you go deep within, you see deep in the dark the light, right? And the light is up here, and you're looking up and you're like, yes, I want to be a star. And that's it. It's simple, right? And you are supported because she is looking at her, and it's a deep desire of yours, right, to be a star, to climb that ladder, and to respect, of course, the plant kingdom, right, and to see that everything has a message. And so the message is very clear. You are ready to be a star. You are ready to be the light up in the sky, right? Because on an emotional level, you have said to yourself, this is where I go, right? I am climbing up that ladder. I want to be the star. And here the emotional intelligence is coming to you on the level of the 8, right? From the 7 to the 8. And this is the 8-8. You need to become an 8 so that you see that the emotional intelligence is just a step to the 8, and the 8 is the infinite, and then comes the 9. And so you get it, right? You understand, oh, okay, when you are a star, sometimes you can also be completely alone up there. It's really lonely up there when you want to be a star. So you know who you have as a friend, who you can trust, who is here. And of course you have Aquarius, who is a star. He can tell you everything about it, right? And so you are creating now in deep within you the desire to be a star. And I think that's going to be then the path outwards again to your full moon, completing this moment of yours as the stardom, as the heart of the sky that is saying, yes, I am ready to be the star of the sky. Well, I wish you a beautiful ceremony for your new moon seed planting, and I hope I see you in the next reading. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.